We are live. We're live here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beer Guys Radio Show. We're back in the saddle, Brian.
We are.
We were out last week.
We had
a guest that canceled, disappeared. It happens sometimes. Things happen.
Yeah.
So we got a week off, but we're back here now. We've been on the road a lot. We've had a lot of remotes and beer festivals. It's beer festival season, but we are here rocking and rolling. Dead Low Brewing.
It just came to an end, the beer festival season, I think, after Oktoberfest.
Well, I don't know. You got your fall seasons too.
Yeah.
You'll have like Strong Beer Fest and the Stout.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
All this. Gentlemen, Dead Low Brewing, how are you doing today?
All right, how are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you so much. We got Kyle and Ivan with us, and we're going to talk dark lagers.
Yep.
We're going to talk Cincinnati beer. We're going to talk stouts.
But yes, very likely.
And
yeah.
all that stuff. That sound like a plan, gentlemen?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Now, we just got our beers poured, and we'll talk in a little bit about the theme. We've got a theme. We don't do this often. We got a theme we're going with. But what are you guys drinking today?
We have a fresh hopped country lager, actually, that we did. There's we were very lucky to have a hop farm right down the road.
Okay. All right,
you get out of the city here a little bit, and it gets very rural very quick. And we have a hop farm that we've partnered with, and so we did a wet hopped country lager.
Wet hopped country lager.
Yes.
Okay.
That is on my list of things to ask about. A wet hop lager.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this.
And a country lager.
I didn't even think about that. Does it wear boots?
So honestly, I'll be completely honest. I was in the dark about this till my brewer explained this to me. But I guess in Germany, like it's very much the tradition to brew country lagers to the region. So all of the grains, all of the hops, everything come from the region you're in, and the finished product needs to be. So we did cheat a little bit and have to go for the grains out of northern Ohio and not right here. But the hops did come straight off the vine and straight on down, and go right into the beer. So wet hop country lager. It's new to me to be honest with you too, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, Brian.
I don't hate it. I like the idea. I like the idea.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, guys, I tell you what, those watching our stream, if you got a question, put it in the chat. We're going to go and record our radio segment here, but we'll be back to chat with you when we're done with that. So, guys, you ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week, we're talking with Cincinnati's Dead Low Brewing Company. I am Tim Dennis, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt. You know, Brian, I'm already disappointed. I wanted to keep going on little riffs on who you are.
Okay.
But I forgot to do one this week, so you're just going to have to be my friend.
I could just be your friend, Brian.
That's
Hewitt.
it.
Okay.
That's it.
Hey, Tim. So joining us today, we have Kyle Havens, the co-founder of Dead Low Brewing, and Ivan Demosthenes, an investor and member of the board. So he's the member of the board. We're going to talk about wet hops, dark lagers, Cincy beers, and maybe even riverboats, Tim. Riverboats.
Wow.
Guys, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.
Absolutely. You know, we get around and talk to breweries from all over the place. A fun fact, Ohio is our number 3 market for our podcast listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, behind Georgia is number 1, home state, home turf advantage there. California. We're big in California, Brian.
Yeah, we are big in California.
And then Ohio.
And,
so that's
Ohio.
Yeah,
Ohio. Nice.
So
Nice.
Thank you, Ohio. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's
all great places to drink a beer.
Thanks so much, Brian. We had a celebration last week. We were out of the studio last week. We had a guest that couldn't make it, but it worked out because I had a birthday. So we went out and we partied, and I did a splurge. No Mike Nate, I splurged. I did. I went for Kobe beef.
Kobe beef.
A5 Kobe Wagyu, which I did my homework in. Apparently that is the the fanciest grade.
Is that
of
the maximum number of A's allowed for steak?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that is it. I looked up, and if I'm going to get this backwards but it's like, and if either you gentlemen know, please feel free to correct me. All Kobe is Wagyu, but not all Wagyu is Kobe. I think it may be the other way around.
That's like squares and rectangles. Like all squares are rectangles and not all rectangles are squares.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something along those lines. But anyhow, the one that I went for, Brian, was supposed to be the fanciest pants of this particular steak. And I'm going to throw it out there. I was underwhelmed.
I was actually there with you, and I thought it was very good. And for the price, not sure I would spring for it again, but definitely worth trying. I thought it was very good, though. Yeah.
Ivan, Kyle, have either of you experienced the Kobe beef?
Yeah. Yes.
And are
but
you
it's but it's
impressed?
always been cooked by us or with somebody I know. I've not done it in a restaurant.
If I come up, will you cook me a Kobe steak? Because I need to have this done properly.
Hey, Tim, actually, you, the chef here at Dead Low,
yes,
we'll take care of you.
Okay.
It will definitely not be an underwhelming experience.
Okay, there we go. Because see, they put mine, and I love a good flame grilled steak. I really do. But I don't think it did justice to this piece of beef. And Brian, it's you got a good car payment out of a piece of steak like that.
Yeah, seriously, yes.
So once a time I wanted to splurge and do that. So Ivan, Kyle, what's the most impressive meal, or if you expensive? Have you ever splurged and just got crazy with it out there?
I took my son for his 16th birthday to like the most expensive steakhouse in Cincinnati because he just really wanted it. So that was his 16th birthday present. So that's probably the most I've ever done, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would do that on the regular, but it was well worth it, and he was very happy for his 16th birthday. So that would probably be my splurge.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys, are you familiar with Jeff Ruby?
Which is
that sounds familiar. Was that it? Is that the one? Is that the place?
So
okay.
Jeff Ruby is the king of steaks. He's had a couple of lieutenants or underlings that have gone off and done their own thing. So the guy that started Texas Roadhouse actually worked for Jeff Ruby.
Okay.
So
how about that?
Yeah. So Peter, if you've ever been to Peter Luger, this is right up there. And so you spend a small fortune when you go there, and it's worth every penny every time. So
I had to second mortgage my house.
Yeah,
totally worth it, right? Totally worth it. There.
He's funny. He brings up Texas Roadhouse on the opposite extreme. One of my favorite cheap meals is going to Texas Roadhouse. The steak there is really inexpensive, and it has never ever disappointed me. It's always been worth more than the price.
I would agree with that.
$18 you'll ever spend.
I think they refer to that as a value meal.
Absolutely.
But it's still pretty good.
We've got chops and bones, and there's Kevin
New York Prime,
and Kevin Rathbun Steak are the Atlanta steakhouse.
Howell's, I think, is also up there too. Howell's,
and where our little friend group is a Kevin Rathbun Steak fan. He's, good stuff, and we go there, and again, not cheap. I don't think it's ridiculously priced for what you get.
I don't think so either.
Now if you're like our one buddy that likes to get the porterhouse for $3. That's like $150 just for him. So then you can do it. But and I kind of get, that's my window, guys. I've got Kevin Rathbun is my gauge for anything that's a fine steakhouse, and Texas Roadhouse. If I'm going budget, if you're in that Texas Roadhouse price range, you got to beat them to be worth. You do,
and I don't think you can. I've never experienced it. If it's even out there, I think it's impossible.
It would be tough to do. Yeah, absolutely. But anyhow, sometimes you got to splurge, treat yourself, and maybe it doesn't work out, but at least you had the experience. At least I had the experience.
You speak of Kevin Rathbun, and probably the most expensive and probably one of the, I think some of my most impressive meals have been with him, but the most ever spent for a meal would probably be his charity barbecue that he does, where he has entire lambs. It's a big open area. It was at restaurant.
Nice.
Has since closed, but the package I got included a bunch of Davidoff cigars and VIP area. I think it was in the neighborhood of $300-400. I don't recall the exact price. It's been like 2 years though.
And I should throw out that the steakhouse I went to celebrate had a few of my buddies' beers on, and they were all misspelled. on the menu. So
You just threw him under the bus, directly under the
there.
bus. Oh, you didn't name him. So
I have not named names. I'm being kind. I have not named names here. So,
well, Tim, I think we need to get into the beers of the week.
Now it's time for our Beers of the Week. Brought to you by The Nest, craft beer and barbecue in downtown Kennesaw, Georgia. TheNestKennesaw.com.
Brian, I bet you can guess what I'm going to say here, but I'm going to say it anyhow. We've got a great list of beers
what?
to enjoy this
no
week.
way.
So we do. We want to thank our friends at The Nest for sponsoring this segment. Brian, we're on the cusp here of summer and fall. And in Georgia, that's a crazy time. 50 degrees one day, 90 degrees the next. That's the way it goes. I'm not ready to let go of summer, but you know what? The Nest has got you covered there because they have a new covered patio, covered, good for summer or fall, Brian.
That's right.
And as the football season's coming in, you can go out there, have a good time. As the seasons progress, it's not going to be that long before we're going to be scheduling holiday parties. So, and they've got you covered there too. Small, large, check them out. The Nest, Kennesaw's got you covered.
They got a fire pit out there too, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, that's really
They
nice.
do.
That's very enjoyable. Yeah.
Well, in my effort to not let go of summer, we're doing a tiki theme this week on our Beers of the Week, Brian. I enjoy tiki beers. I enjoy summer cocktails. So we're starting out with Left Hands getting tiki with it, which I think is good. And I believe you wanted to do some dancing during the show, right? So we can get tiki with it.
Get tiki with it. Yeah.
But that is a pina colada wheat that we're currently enjoying. One from our Georgia breweries, Creature Comforts Athena Paradiso. I'm usually a fan of that whole series of beers, but pineapple, lemon, coriander in that one, tiki-ish. I'd say if you do a beer with pineapple and lemon, you can qualify.
It's in the proximity of tiki.
Right. We also have Great Divides Margarita Goza. And from Destil, we got Hawaii 5 Ale, which is a blonde ale with pineapple, coconut, mango, peach, and guava.
I think that about covers all the fruits.
Guava. So that's it. We're getting tiki with it. All 4 segments there. Thinking, Ivan, what's in your glass today?
So, had this country ale with. I think we shared with you about the wet country hops that we use.
Yeah.
It was actually news to me. Before we came down to start the podcast, I just said, "Hey, give me whatever Kyle's having." So it is quite tasty.
That's usually the way to go.
Yeah,
I'll have what Kyle's having.
Yeah, I'm not overly. If there's beer being poured, man, I'm down with it. Let's drink a beer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have a good time with it. And Kyle, I think we already know what you're having. I think I haven't told you there, right?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, that's been my go-to here recently. Like we didn't make a whole lot of it, so I'm trying to get it in while I can. It's going pretty quick around here, so I'm just trying to enjoy it while we have it, because it won't be back till next year. And quite frankly, we'll probably do something different with the fresh hops next year. So I'm just enjoying it while it's here. It's probably going to be a one-off.
That's fun, and we're going to talk about. We're almost out of time here, but we're going to talk a bit more about a country lager. So you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Dead Low Brewing. Boom.
All right.
Clear.
Now, you know the goal of the beer is to actually sell it and not drink it all yourself, Kyle. I mean, you do want to sell some of it.
What?
Yes.
Do we have a gasp sound over there?
A gasp.
I'm not equipped for that. The goal is to sell it.
Yeah. What? I'm not here to sell beer. I'm here to drink it.
But I need to enjoy my job while I'm at it.
That's a good point.
And alcohol is definitely a good way to enjoy
Indeed.
a job there. So,
all right. Got any?
We started dabbling with hop waters and non-alcoholic beers because at the beginning of 2020, I had a little medical thing, we're going to call it. And the doctor told me to just take it easy a little bit on alcohol. He didn't say I had to quit. He said, take it easy. So we use that as an excuse to see what the non-alcoholic stuff out there was doing. Because, you know, it's came up a lot of
people are asking about it
in the NA scene. And because back in my day, you had Sharps, O'Doul's, and that was about it.
Pretty much, yeah. And those are, I mean, they'll get you by, I suppose, if you need something, but those are not great. There's some really good options out there these days, though.
There are.
Yeah.
There are
very
some good
acceptable
stuff out there.
options if you're looking for something that is in the taste beerish, you know,
Right.
and get you some hops, get you some whatever you're looking for, and it's satisfying. I mix them in between beers sometimes when I'm like, I'm drinking too fast. Let me throw a non-alcoholic in here to kind of maintain.
Is there a plug here? Those plugs don't seem like
Have you guys tried any of the non-alcoholic beers?
I try not to.
Okay.
Honestly, I have not for any particular
Okay,
reason. It's
yeah.
just the reason, like the need has not arisen, so I have not.
Yeah.
I probably, you know what? Honestly, I feel like Harps Harps did one way back when, or Harp.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I had that just in passing, but that's been years. That's probably the last non-alcoholic beer I've had.
Yeah, Tim, I'm 51 years old. I think I actually tried a couple in the early 90s.
Okay, gotcha.
And then maybe 10 years ago, to be polite, I drank one at a party.
There you go.
But
yeah.
They're a lot better the last couple of years.
They are.
They
are. I'm sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Actually,
things have to come around big time.
Yeah, actually, the one that I had, to be polite, I do remember thinking, wow, that was not like my first go around the first time I tried. So it was a little bit better.
But it's interesting. We do get responses, a lot of responses like what you said, but our non-alcoholic beer shows, we've probably done 4, I guess.
Yeah.
Talk to different brewers. They're super popular. We do.
Yeah. That's great. I mean,
yeah.
And we always have people that'll reach out to us and say, hey, we heard Athletic Brewing on your show, and I gave them a shot, and they're pretty tasty. And I will say 90% of the feedback we've gotten has been positive. But I did have one guy message me on Instagram one time to tell me what a moron I was and how horrible my palate is, and that the only reason that we had Athletic as a sponsor is because he understood we had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So you get those.
Yeah, but the thing is, everybody's different. Like, that should not be, like, you guys should be proud that you're promoting that. Like, that's ridiculous to me. Like,
sure.
Like, if somebody doesn't want to drink alcohol, then nobody should be faulted for that. Like, and they should be able to enjoy it as much as the rest of us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And guys, I was when I partnered and invested with Dead Low, I learned maybe it's not everywhere, but here in Cincinnati, non-alcoholic beers are huge in this region with women. And come to find out, a lot of girlfriends, wives, etc., will not visit a brewery unless there's a non-alcoholic version or a very light version of the beer.
Okay.
So I was pleasantly surprised to hear that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, so many breweries are diversifying their portfolios there, because it's not just the beer nerds standing around. Georgia's had huge changes the last few years in our beer laws. And 4 years ago, you couldn't buy beer at a brewery at all. You had to go for this tour. You had to pay for a tour, and you get these sample pours and that. So breweries, for the most part, were beer geeks standing around in stuff that amounted to a warehouse or a beer brewery, drinking beer samples.
Drinking half pours or like
drinking
quarter pours. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we had little tickets and tokens that you had to trade in because you couldn't have more than 36 ounces at all.
And I'd hang on to extra tokens for the next time through, so I get that extra pour,
Yeah. So now it's opened up, but, it was a different scene then. And now it is something, your tap room it's the gathering place, man. People are coming to them. And, so they've got board games and video games, and they have different offerings. And down here in Georgia, just recently became legal for breweries to do distilling as well. So, there's spirits, there's cocktails, there's the RTD cocktails that they have there, slushies, vodka slushies, and of course the seltzers, man.
Of course,
the seltzers are there. So, it's something.
Indeed.
Very nice.
Yeah. Steven?
Yeah, my first Georgia
stuff,
beer experience was I know I'm a couple years removed from this now, but I had a nice connection in my old job of a free place to stay in Jekyll Island.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, right. And Terrapin was actually the first thing that I ever got, because it was the only thing they had on the island that was like not, normal, just everyday beer.
Right.
And actually really enjoyed it, but that was the only thing. And then probably the last couple of years we were there, they finally started getting other offerings like that. And so that maybe, part of what you're talking about with the changes in the laws, because like that was the only beer that was not, Budweiser or something else, that was on the island at the time.
That's it. For several years there, we had like Red Brick Brewing, Terrapin, Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sweetwater.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. Like Jailhouse early on, but
you had kind of I think 2004, we started trickling up there.
Yeah.
And then of course 2017 as we started passing laws, big changes started happening.
Yep.
Sweetwater and Terrapin are readily available up here.
Yeah, I figured those guys, those are our two big boys. The Sweetwater is on like aren't they on the top 20 list now? Like they're number 13
I think so.
Or something?
I think they're up there, and they're are they half of the country, or are they spread over all the way to Colorado? I think now.
Well, they just got a facility out there too.
So they may be getting stuff on. They're working on taking over the West Coast too. I think.
Do they still qualify now that they're part of Weed Incorporated?
Afria, or is that what it is?
Afria.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the legality or what the technicalities there are of it, but I've known them for a long time. They're still kind of
I
still like them.
I know there's some people that are kind of militant about big beer, quote unquote big beer, and I have my stance on it. I prefer to drink craft. I definitely
do,
prefer
absolutely,
to drink craft. But I know the folks at Sweetwater. I know the folks at Terrapin. I know Spike. Spike just laughed in our face just a few weeks ago when we asked if he was going to be at the show when we talked to his brew lab because he was going to the beach in Costa Rica or something. So, it's like, hey, Spike, you going to be there to join us? He's like, no, I'm going to be in Costa Rica. So, we know these people and we'll still show them love, so
indeed.
Good stuff.
Indeed.
Tough life.
Yeah. And speaking of your good local beer, Stephen Pete, Kettle Rock Brewing. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Stephen.
We appreciate it. Tasty beers. I still got to get over there to visit.
I've been over there. Have I been in twice? It's just the one time. I think it's just the one time. Well, they've been here, so I've been. Yeah.
I see the pictures. Really gorgeous tap room. It looks like a really cool place to hang out and have a beer. That's for sure. So cool. Well, how about we get back into it here? Talk a little more about Dead Low.
Should we?
Yeah. Let's move on
grab
to another one. What'd you think of this, B?
I thought it was okay. Yeah.
I think it's okay. Left hand pina colada.
Yeah, left hand nitro.
Let's go Creature.
It was I got a general tiki vibe from it, so
yeah,
I'm satisfied.
Do you guys know Creature Comforts Brewing?
I do not.
Give me a little zoom there, Nate. So here we go. So this is Athena Paradiso is there. Got to follow the camera there. I'm not doing a very good job. Oh well. But it was just a Berliner, but this is a Goza. So Athena Paradiso.
It used to be a Berliner, fruited Berliner.
Fruited Berliners and Gozas. And Creature was one. They raised the bar for Georgia beer.
They did.
They really raised the bar for Georgia beer. And boy, we've done pretty well since then. I'm not ready for this jelly. Why don't you?
They pretty much did some of the first whale beers that we really ever had. I mean,
they did.
The ones that were known outside of the state. A Terrapin early on when they did what were they called? Was Backstage? That was they did a whole side project. For a while they had a lot of hotness, people chasing the various releases they did. And I think Creature Comforts was the first that got hype and people looking for it from out of state, trying to get see the stars, basically.
You gotta remember when Tropicalia first came out.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, Tropicalia, people chasing trucks looking to get it.
There we go. All right.
Okay. Interesting that they went the Goza route, but I don't dislike it. So
German wheat.
What's that?
There's probably one behind the TV.
I got it.
Alrighty. I think we're up on segment 2, aren't we?
We are up on segment 2. We're gonna do this.
Alrighty.
Perfect. Did it come up?
You got no news, Brian.
I did get no news.
No news for you.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, the news was it was okay this week.
Okay, news.
There was news, but
I got you.
we can live without it, I suppose.
Okay. All right. Ready to rock, guys?
Yep.
Let's do this.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand. So if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to Dead Low Brewing.
Dead Low Brewing. We teased as we left the last segment.
We did.
Brian. We were talking about country lagers.
Yes.
And I think we want to talk about that a little bit more. Kyle, can you tell us more about country lagers and what exactly the magic is there?
So, it was something I actually knew nothing about. My brewer came to me, and we have a really great hop farm right down the road. It's in New Richmond, Ohio, right down the road, probably within 5 to 10 miles, called Boondocks Hops. It's a small family-owned hop farm. They came to us a couple years ago, asked if we'd want to work with them. And, we were, thrilled to have something that close. So my brewer, Grant Thompson, basically came to me and said, that there's a traditional thing in Germany where it's called a country lager. And I basically think that's, it's basically based on the rural regions out there. And the whole point of it is to brew, everything locally. And it's a deep tradition in Germany, and he wanted to try it. So, we don't really have anybody that manufactures grains locally or kilns grains locally or anything. So we did go to Northern Ohio for the grains. But so it's an all Ohio beer, but it is a local beer, and it's brewed in the tradition of the country lager. The hops came, straight here, and they are, I would have. Might misspeak here. I believe they are Zeus hops,
Okay.
Which is not a very common thing, but they grow them there. We've actually used them in some other beers here and tried them. They pelletize them as well. These were fresh cones right off the vine, and and we wet hop this beer, but these came straight to us as they harvest them, and the beer turned out really well.
Is it brewed with a Cincinnati captured lager yeast?
No, and
okay, that would be pretty.
I
cool,
got to be
though.
honest, I can't remember what it was. No, the yeast is not local.
Okay.
So is it? We don't have it here, but is it kind of like a hoppy lager basically, or is it just enough of the wet hop?
It's just enough of the wet hop to get the thing. It's not hoppy, it's not piney, it's not citrusy. I mean, it's definitely still a lager. I find it very interesting. It's very easy drinking. But it's like 6%. Like it's still, got some bite to it, but the bitterness, there's not a lot of bitterness. It's not citrusy. It's not on the New England side. It's not on the West Coast side. I mean, it's not piney, but it's an interesting style. It's something that I had not experienced, nor quite frankly had I ever heard of before he brought it up to me to try it.
That's a pretty cool concept. So is that kind of what you guys really focus on as a brewery, like finding the lesser known styles, or is that kind of your approach to things? Are you more classic styles, or do you go more experimental?
Yeah, quite honestly, we don't focus on anything in particular. We don't focus on a style. I always say we don't focus on a style. We focus to being true to style. So I pretty much, our brewer has fairly free reign. We have a few things that we keep on tap. Some of them I call business beers, just because they're the ones that sell, and there's other things that have just become popular that, that we like, and then and people like them. But Grant is very good at just brewing things true to style. We don't focus on a particular style, but when he brews, we try to keep things very true to style.
Yeah, I can't complain with that. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Have fun.
Yeah,
with it.
I like it. I like that we don't have ourselves back to do a niche or something that we have to feel like we have to keep coming with. It's like if he wants to do something, we pretty much let him do it, and everything's been very popular and done very well. We have a weird situation here where we're right near a very big outdoor concert amphitheater, and there's a ballpark right behind us, a softball facility. So our lighter beers tend to be our bigger sellers. So we have a light lager, a Mexican lager, the Shores beer. Those things, tend to stay on tap because the lighter side of things here, from a business standpoint, tends to be a little more popular. And then it does allow us to kind of branch out and do things like country lagers and things when we want to do something a little different.
It's interesting you talk about kind of staying true to style there. And it just kind of got me thinking that I have seen people complain because breweries get too crazy.
Yes.
I've seen people complain because breweries are too pedestrian. I've seen people complain because breweries have too many beers on tap.
Yes.
And I've seen them complain because they don't have enough beers on tap.
Yes.
So what it all boils down to is do you.
Yeah, exactly right.
Do your thing. There's going to be people that dig you for it. There's going to be people that don't. We've got, I haven't experienced enough of the lagers of the country to make a fair assessment, but I will say that I think I'm fairly safe in saying that Halfway Crooks in Atlanta is probably in that upper echelon.
I would say so.
Of lager breweries.
Absolutely.
And I saw someone that went in there and they stopped in and like, oh, these guys only had like 4 beers on the tap. I was in and out of there in 30 minutes. I'm like, well, this isn't the place to go tick your wells. This is the place you go to get a crisp, clean lager. You sit down, and we actually sat down, and I kid you not, guys, we sat down and watched competitive sheep herding in the upstairs bar while sipping liters of hef.
Exactly. They do Kolsch service. The idea is they keep bringing you the same beer. You're not ticking off, like you said, the whales are just new ones. You're hanging out, drinking, lighter, refreshing beers for long periods of time, hanging out with people, watching sheep herding or whatever you want to do.
Give me a Pilsner.
Hey, Tim, was the competitive sheep herding, was that on ESPN?
I think it was on the Ocho.
Probably.
I bet it was on the Ocho if I had to guess there.
Yeah.
But they had the dog show on one time, and people are they're cheering. I mean, just having fun with it, So good times.
Anything can become a big spectator sport if you're playing it for people who are drinking beer.
If you got enough alcohol.
Yes.
That's
if you've
right.
got enough
Very
alcohol.
true.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So Ivan, let's back up a little bit. Dead Low Brewing. How did Dead Low get started? What prompted Dead Low to get rocking and rolling?
So actually, Kyle might be better to tell the story, but the way that by the time they got started, interestingly enough, just friend of a friend, knew the family, coached their son in football, and invited me down. And if you've seen the pictures on the internet, the facility is magnificent, and they spared no expense as well. And it didn't take me long. I pretty much begged to be included, and here I saw their vision right away.
Now, Ivan, do you have any brewing background, or are you just a beer lover?
No, I'm just a beer lover, and I'll tell you, this experience I'm learning. Like, I'm listening to Kyle tonight, I'm still learning. As we ramped up before open, some of my best memories, favorite memories, are tasting beers and the concoctions that they came up with in the garage. Right? We called them board meetings. So we'd have board meetings, and we would sample, and great times. And some of the things that we tasted were unbelievable. And it's been a great experience.
They put the beers around on a flight board. That way they can call it a board meeting.
That's the kind of board I want to be a member of. Yeah, absolutely. So Kyle, if you can, what's the background? I'll
do as quick as I can. So my main business partner and I, Paul Ganem, met through my wife. Actually coached his daughter in soccer. Struck up a conversation. Ended up both really liking craft beer. He and his brother were in a local, it was basically in a guy's basement brewing collaborative here in the area we live in. There was about 200 guys in, you kind of paid in, brewed on this system. And we got really into it. And, I had been brewing in my backyard on, a couple pots on a camp stove and just, dabbling. But we came together, and then eventually we were like, I would really like to do something with this. And I was kind of tired with my day job of 20 years, and we kind of just took off. It took us about 5 years to get to the point where we could get to what Dead Low was. We had another location, and it fell apart, and we struggled quite a bit to get this going, and found the spot that we're in now, and it's just kind of taken off from there. I mean, we're lucky to be here, even with, I mean, COVID, quite frankly, and it's been great. I mean, it's really come together, and Paul brought his sister Christine in. She's got a vast marketing background. So we're the 3 founders, and we kind of came together, and it's been amazing.
Sounds like a good reason
Yeah,
to
it
start
does.
a brewery to me, man. You really can't argue with that.
So I don't know if we have time for it. So maybe we'll tease it, but we have to find out about the name because I didn't know what to make of the name when I first heard it. I'm like,
it just totally threw you off. You know what? How about, Brian, we're going to fulfill your dreams when we get back.
That's
okay?
right. We should.
All right. Until then, we are going to take a break. You're listening to the Beer Guys radio show, and we'll be back with Dead Low Brewing right after this.
Awesome, guys. Hey, so we've got time to go get some beer?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You did. No worries. You know what? Yeah, you're on a separate track, so we're good there. But yeah, I guess we probably should have told that just until the outro
Finishes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
then we're back in regular streaming.
You do
land.
have time to get you a beer. There you go.
Excellent.
Refill, and we need to do the same here.
Yeah, we do need another beer. This was good, but there was only 12 ounces of it, Tim.
No, I like that one. I did like that one better than the left hand as well.
Oh yeah, there's a second one in there.
Let's go margarita.
Heck, I didn't even.
No, let's go Hawaii 5L just so we can cheese on the name.
Hawaii 5 Ale.
Heck,
if they've walked up.
The worst acting of any TV show ever.
Oh, let me think about that. It seems like I've seen a lot worse. Maybe not. I don't know. It's been a long
awful.
time. Yeah.
You know what? A lot of those older shows are not good. And I'll be honest, the style of acting, what's popular in acting has changed. Like watching old Charlton Heston movie. It's so cheesy.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's so full of cheese, man. And he was, legendary.
What's his name? The Duke. His movies are so it's rough.
It is.
Especially watching him amble around and punch a guy, and it's ridiculously telegraphed.
Well, I'll tell you this, partner. Do you remember the song John Wayne Rap?
John Wayne Rap.
Da ha da ha. Da ha 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 ha.
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll have to dig that one up. That's the most we can get. I'm too dead on point with how I'm singing that, so I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Oh, it's exactly.
Ivan's about in my age group. I bet Ivan knows it. When they get their beers refilled, we'll find out what Ivan knows. What does Ivan
I shall
know?
run back. I shall be back momentarily.
Whatever.
Do you want to get a photo of this? Yeah. You normally do. Yeah.
The flavors kind of get all up in each other's face there. Yeah. I don't know, though. It's kind of, I'm okay with it.
I don't hate it.
Support flavor, boycott bland is what it says there on that can. Says it on the can. Boycott bland. Says it on the can. That's a chant if they ever want to make that a mission statement. Boycott bland. Says it on the can. Yeah, this is pretty tasty. I like the Athena Paradiso. I was down with that. Get here. You get Brian's mic. He's gone. We can chat. It's me and you now. No Mike Nate.
No, it's no Mike Brian.
No Mike Brian. Mike Nate, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Good,
Tim,
man. Good.
Brian, how are you?
What's been your favorite that we've sipped on so far?
I really think it's the Creature because
I think
it's got
too.
the tarty McTart face the most.
Yeah, it does. First one, there was actually a little bitterness in there that I didn't dig. I don't like it in that style of beer. I don't like the bitterness in general, and not in that style of beer, especially.
The first one was also a wheat ale, and I did not taste the usual wheat, like
the
true
wheatiness,
style,
that mouthfeel and the
wheatiness,
wheatiness. Yeah.
They did
I
not have
dug
their
the
wheaties.
Creature, Athena Paradiso Goza, and I think I like this Destil. I think the flavors, it's fruit punchy, cocktaily, but tasty.
Fruit punchy, fruit cocktaily. It's a blonde ale, so it's a little lighter. Definitely
I'm good
for
with
cocktail.
this.
Yeah.
I'm good with this. What do you think, Brian? Now
I
it's
am
back to no Mike Nate. Sorry,
That's
Nate.
right. You had your moment in the sun
That's
with
it.
all the volume and everything. You know, when I first poured this, there was a little bit of an odd aroma that came off. I don't get it now. So it seems okay. Yeah. Seems like a pretty solid, fruity, enjoyable, peaky cocktailish type of thing. You know,
Kyle, are you moving with more country lager, or did you get something else there?
Ivan just went. It looks like he brought the country lager again.
Oh yeah, why?
Well,
Like
just
rolling,
rolling steady, riding steady. I got a question for you, Ivan. Since we're in the same age range there. Do you remember the song "The John Wayne Rap"?
The John Wayne Rap. It sounds familiar. Will you jog my memory?
Da da
Da
ha. Yes, there we go.
Amigo.
Yes.
Not a Fasa I see. 200 punks. Well, what you gonna do? I got 2 6-shooters that'll see me through. That's 12 dead and 188.
Look at the can of worms you opened.
That's it.
And what I
That
do to your
is
grave
it.
won't stand for roses either, Buster.
Yep.
this is what happens when you encourage Tim.
So you think you're bad?
Yeah, we've
with
got
your
so much
rap?
to talk about.
Oh, we could do it, man.
That's
We could
amazing. I
do it.
totally forgot about that song. I don't
Yes.
need to tell you, but that's what I'm going to listen to on my way home tonight.
It's on the list for me already too.
I don't think I've ever heard it, and now I'm probably going to have to hear it many times.
There's one where he's like, "So you think you're bad with your rap? Well, I tell you, Pilgrim, I started that crap. When you were in diapers and wetting the sheets, I was at the Ponderosa rapping to the beat.
Wow.
The classics.
It must have. When did that come out? What?
Oh, gosh, man, that
80,
was 80s,
88 maybe?
That had to have been. Yeah, it couldn't have been because I don't even think that the rap was something you like. I imagine you saw MTV. Is that because that MTV was my first exposure
I
to
think this would have just
most
been
rap.
I remember it on the radio. I don't
Really?
know that, I don't know,
okay.
just on the radio.
BET, they had the video on BET back when people used to play videos.
Yeah,
I remember that, man. Good times.
Yeah, I had never seen or heard any rap at all until I saw it on MTV in the 80s.
We know what's going to be on the playlist when we get done here.
Yeah, I imagine I will be hearing this.
Kyle, do you know that one? Do you know?
After Ivan serenaded me, yes, I definitely remember it.
Good.
Are you just saying that so you don't have to hear it again?
No, I do remember. I did not know what he was talking about when he asked, but once the rendition started, I definitely picked up on it.
Guys, interesting fact: Kyle and I used to date in high school, and that was our first dance together.
That's beautiful. Do we have the VHS?
That's
tapes?
moving.
Or the Betamax, whatever.
There is nothing true about that story.
It's okay. It's okay. Everything's safe with us and everyone on the internet that's watching this right now.
Every single
internet. So
indeed.
Good stuff. This is good. We should just keep drinking and see what happens. Man.
I think so.
So we owe you an explanation of what the phrase "dead low" is.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
You have to with something like that. You have to hear that because what I was thinking was very much not what it was. So I'm like,
so have you looked it up at all?
I will not to spoil anything, but yes, I did.
Okay. I just wondered if you had gotten your answer. Or okay, cool.
Yeah.
But for the purposes of the show, let's say no. Let's pretend.
Absolutely, I get it.
Yeah. So I got a question here. So I found one picture of the brewery. It looks like, is your logo laser blasted onto the side of your brewery, or is that just like neon? Or
the picture you might have seen, it's actually a projector. It's basically a bat signal.
That's what I thought.
It's a bat signal. It's over a projector. The city here is very peculiar about issuing permits for signage.
Interesting.
So the way we got around it was to just shoot it onto the building instead of hanging it. We wanted to put a sign that big and mount it on the building.
Right.
We put in a permit for it, and we had kind of run out of our allotted square footage, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. So we ended up buying a camera and shooting it onto the building to get around it.
It looks cool.
That's not a bad way to go. It's always going to
it works. And people like it. It's kind of funny. It's got a little quirkiness to it. So people dig it.
It's always going to look clean, and if you want to update it or modify it or add seasonal stuff to it, you could just take. Just put another
We
image
can
in there,
basically
right?
put anything up there with a different, slide or screen across the front. So yeah,
Can people
So-
hack it? You need to watch out for that because you never know what might go on.
it's old school, man. You got to put a film over the front of it. Like I don't think it's not digital.
Oh,
They've
okay.
got an overhead projector like you use in 5th grade. with the written
It's an over glorified projector.
fancy one of those.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. The overhead, the thing where you put the clear sheet and you write on it.
Yeah, it's got like a film. Yeah.
So as we're doing this, we can see on our end, and I think you guys may be able to see it too, who's watching online and the likes and stuff we have online. And I'm afraid my rapping may have hurt us because I think I just saw someone take a like away from us. I think it just went down one. So
That's someone you don't need, Tim. You don't need that guy.
we don't
Whoever
need you.
unliked you.
We don't need you.
I won't lie, it was me. I was watching on my phone and I unliked it.
How do I
Embrace your inner rapper?
That's it, man. That's it. So we'll make it through this, Brian, just like everything else. So, all right, guys, ready to get back on it?
Sure thing.
Let's do it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, Success 105.7 on 95.5 FM and 105.7 FM in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's really hard for me to say for some reason. Wow.
Put a pen in your mouth.
Yeah, I really should do that. Yes. Yeah. Catch Beer Guys Radio on Success 105.7 every Saturday at 3 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. Now let's get back to Dead Low Brewing.
Dead Low Brewing. Guys, I'm going to make Brian's dreams come true in just a minute. We're going to ask you what the phrase Dead Low is all about. But Brian, our tiki tour today.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We're on to Destil's Hawaii 5 Ale. What do you think of that one?
I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid. I think I like the of the three that we've had so far. I think I like the Creature Comforts one the most, but this is pretty tasty.
I
It's
enjoyed
festive,
the Creature
tiki-ish.
quite a lot, but I think this one's growing on me. It's a fruit medley.
Yeah, a blonde
Tropical
with a medley. Yes,
Brian. So I'm down with it.
fruity, juicy, and tropical, as it says.
It's an awesome name, Hawaii 5 Ale. That is killer.
Man, beer pun names are the best. They
They are
really
the
are.
best.
So what have we had? We had Getting Tiki with it.
Yes, we did.
And we had
Nitro.
Hawaii 5L.
Hawaii
So,
5 Ale and the Creature Comforts that you got over there. So
yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Ivan, can you solve the mystery of the phrase dead low and where that comes from?
Yeah, actually, we were talking about this before. I should say that there's a little synchronicity here when you mentioned to Brian to say Tulsa with the pen in his mouth. When you look up Demosthenes, he was famous for a speech impediment, and the way that he cured his speech impediment was by putting rocks and pebbles in his mouth to talk correctly. So you can look it up. Just thought I'd mention that to you. And so Paul Ganem, the founder, or the person who really came up with the concept, he was the one who came up with the idea. The property here, as we shared, we're right on the river near an event, a huge event space where all the big concerts come, and concerts and softball fields. And on the other side is the Ohio River. You can actually see it from here. And dead low is a term that used to be used to let the steamboats know that it was the lowest navigatable point of sailing or going through the waters. So that lowest navigatable point of the water, they used to scream dead low. If you look at the logo, you see the lead weight and hence the skeleton, and they used to scream out dead low.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you go any further in ground, you're going to scrape bottom and,
exactly.
keel hauled or whatever that is. Yeah. Tear it up.
Yeah. And so Samuel Clemens, who had the pen name Mark Twain. Did I miss anything?
No, you're on the right track.
I'm on the right track. So Samuel Clemens, he actually used to be one of those individuals who used to scream out "Dead Low" when that would happen, and he would write about it in his novels that he wrote. So.
Okay, now
But
is
the pen name, Mark Twain's pen name actually came. They would call out the fathoms in Twain. They use the term Twain, so they would use quarter Twain, half Twain. The Dead Low for a steamboat was 2 fathoms, which was 12 feet, which was Mach 2 or Mark Twain.
okay.
So he heard that on these boats back prior to him writing. So his pen name, Dead Low for a steamship, is basically Mark Twain's pen name. So we found that very, kind of fascinating. And then the other things, we came into this building we bought sort of dictated the name to some extent. Like the guy that we bought the building from built this place in like 1996. It had a very riverboat theme to it. There's a paddle wheel fan system here that the guy put in that you will not see anywhere else, and I struggle to maintain it on a daily basis because it's like there's nobody to work on it, and it's so the theme kind of dictated us, and we basically just looked at a glossary of steamboat names and whittled down from 100 down to eventually Dead Low.
Cool. And another fact that a lot of people probably don't know is that Dead Low was also Mark Twain's rap name.
I think
yes.
so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you guys do your research.
We did. We got to do.
He also went under DJ Dead Low.
DJ Dead Low. And his medallion that he used to wear around his neck was that weight at the bottom of it that they used to collect samples of the dirt at the bottom. He wore one on a gold chain.
On an extremely large gold chain.
That's right.
Exactly.
A very large gold chain.
Peyton Fences, Huck Finn.
That's
Huck
right.
Finn and Dead Low coming at you.
Huck Finn and Dead Low. Oh man. So let's talk.
We totally
we've gone off.
things here,
yeah,
guys.
we've gone off the rail. I didn't even know.
You know what? We're gonna just jump right into this. There was something I want to talk about because looking at your beer list, I noticed you had some dark lagers offered up there, and we were talking about these recently. A lot of people will say things like, "Well, I don't like dark beers," or "I only drink lagers," or whatever. And anytime they say those, if they say "I only drink lagers," they're definitely not talking about Schwarzbier, Doppelbock, Weizenbock, and all of that. They're talking about that country lager. That's what they're talking about sipping on there. And there's people that just don't have any idea that there's these dark lagers out there, or people that say I only like stouts. I drink a lot of Guinness. I don't really like lagers. And I think it's underappreciated. I think a little love is starting to come into it there. But it looks like you guys do get a little respect for the dark lagers there at Dead Low. Is that right?
It sells very well here, and I think a lot of it's just sort of turning people on to it. But it's Schwarzbier literally means black lager, and honestly, we didn't even name the beer. Like that's one of our beers. We didn't even put a name on it. We just call it Schwarzbier. We tell our servers, bartenders to just explain this is simply a black lager. The one thing I love about it is, I'm a big fan of stouts. I'm a big fan of porters. This beer drinks like a big, to me, it drinks like a big, lager, or it drinks like a big stout or a big porter. It's got a lot of coffee notes. It drinks like a lager as well. You can sit and have a few of them. You don't feel heavy. If somebody likes dark beer, but they're like, well, I can only have one. Well, you can definitely have more than one with this particular beer. I mean, it's 5.5%. It's a little high on the lager side of the ABV. It's 25 IBUs, I believe. There's a little bit of bitterness, but I mean, it is a very drinkable beer. But you get a lot of those notes, and I love it. I mean, I drink it very regularly, and we lucked into it. Quite frankly, like we were like, we got to keep this beer on, because we haven't. We're a fairly small brewer. We've actually, it's a good problem to have, but we've struggled to keep some beers on tap, and that's one of them we decided to keep on. Because we're kind of, a lot of people tend to be seasonal porter stout drinkers, and we're kind of getting back into that season. But that's the one quote unquote dark beer that we do keep on because you can kind of drink it year round, and it's not heavy, and people really have it's really caught on, and people like it.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking about it. How do you get people away from this misnomer that dark beers are strong, they're intense, they're powerful? I'm thinking the only thing you really can do is get them to actually taste it. Say, hey, this isn't what you expect, because it's so pervasive, especially with people who aren't regular habitual drinkers of craft beer, or, you know, they're just kind of casual beer drinkers, that the dark ones are always the strong ones.
That's
So
it. Big,
they're
strong,
always just
beer,
big and bitter, and, you know, they knock you out type of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess,
Yeah, Brian, you're totally right, because I wouldn't consider myself a dark beer drinker, but one of the first beers that we opened with was a Caribbean Stout, which I thought was unbelievable, which could have fit into the tiki theme as well. But yeah, it was completely different than I anticipated, and kind of made myself open to trying others. So
those
Caribbean
are fun
Stout.
to discover. I haven't had one of those in a while. Yeah.
I think bars should do something called like Discovery Day.
Oh yeah,
and they should have a beer that day it's $1. Get you an 8-ounce pour for $1.
That's a good idea.
That should be it, guys. You can use
You
that.
got to try it.
See, yeah,
I like that idea.
I like that idea too.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. It's more the people, in all honesty, the people that come in that like dark beers, and we like it's dead of summer, and we just don't have a lot on. That's the one we turn them on to. The light beer drinkers still tend to be a little apprehensive about, because we have a couple lagers that we keep on just because it's sort of, the clientele has sort of dictated it, and it's a seller. But the dark beer drinkers, when we don't have it, and when I say, listen, like this is a black lager, but it drinks like a big beer, like, and you can have a few of them, like, 90% of the time they really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I do too. I love nothing more than get me like a 6-pack of 750s of Santa Claus.
That's right.
And just kicking back and enjoying, man. Enjoying those things. Yeah. We're going to talk more about dark lager, other beers, and other crazy stuff. But right now we need to take a break, Brian. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we'll be back with more from Dead Low Brewing right after this. Cool.
Clear.
All right, guys. I'm sorry I scared you. Like when I started talking about Greek philosophers walking the shores of a beach with rocks and pebbles.
That's good stuff. No, here's the fun thing. We recorded a promo for a new sponsor, Novozymes. By the way, go to brewingwithenzymes.com/beerguysradio and get your free sample now
of Novozymes.
Novozymes, brewing enzymes.
Brewing enzymes.
It'll keep you from having too thick of a mash. It'll keep you from having a stuck mash. Everybody
Indeed.
needs it. Yeah. But there was a phrase in this ad that for the life of me I couldn't stop slurring. I was stumbling over it, and Brian's like, put a pen in your mouth and say it with the pen, like bite down on the pen.
Across your teeth, yeah.
So I would do that and say it like 3 times, and as soon as I did that, I could say it no problem at all. I'm like, what in the world?
But only for a few times, and it would go away.
And then it'd go back again.
I saw that's having to enunciate around something like that makes you do it more precisely. And apparently it works until your mouth gets lazy again.
Which doesn't take long for mine.
Your mouth gets lazy very quickly.
It spends a lot of time drinking beer, Brian.
That's
so
true.
It's tired.
Your mouth is drunk. This is what it is.
And how much I run my mouth in general, of course it's tired.
That's true. Yes.
Gosh.
That's what she said.
We do have a drum roll. Hold on. Where is it?
You didn't
it was
one more time. There we go.
You guys are a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. We try to have a good time with it.
Indeed, yeah.
You know how unwind.
You got to really jazz up beer. People are so bored of beer. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, sure. Yeah, I spent 10.
Damn it,
Brian. Where's that trombone?
I don't have it.
Wait.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, I figure after 10 hours behind the recruiting desk, man, I deserve a couple.
Oh well,
beers,
yeah. You're
right?
slap happy at that point, right?
Exactly.
You got some.
I did get some of that. Yeah. Cheers!
Cheers, guys.
Cheers for beers.
I hope one day you guys can make it up here and come visit us.
Man, we have got to do a tour. We actually talked about it not long ago about just making a run up the eastern side of the U.S. Just run up through there. We've got one of our biggest stations is in Burlington, Vermont, and of course, Beer City, USA up there. All the great stuff. So we've got a New England run to do. We need to get over to South Carolina. We
Yep.
just got a station in West Virginia, and oddly enough, just totally random, this station happens to be in the town where my mother's ancestors have been for generations. Little
Wow.
town in West
Yeah.
Virginia. And to throw even more freakiness into it, turns out that one of only 2 breweries in the county, I'm related to one of the owners and had no idea. I just found out.
Really?
Nice.
So, but man, we need to go up through Ohio. I've got a good buddy in Columbus, so we go through there, head on up through Pennsylvania, and on up in the Northeast.
It's pretty much every state on the what east of the Mississippi, I think. Pretty much all of them.
We need to get us like one of those Sprinter vans.
Yeah, that's would be
Just hit the road, man. Just hit the road.
Hey, brother, I got one for you. I just do you remember the football player by the name of Tim McGee?
You know, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's pretty well known. He was a Bengal, really good ball player. He just started his own Sprinter van service.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I've never seen anything like this, like plush sectional leather. It's we're not talking Atlanta Housewives, Real Housewives, or Beverly Hills.
Okay.
This is like full luxury, and he's got a fleet of them. Let me know. I'll send one down there for you.
There we go,
So
man.
just pick us up, we'll head up. Yeah.
See, because that's the thing. Limos aren't the thing anymore. It's those decked out Sprinters, man. That's the way they go.
I've ridden in a limo in the past 10 or so years, and I found them cramped. I'm like, they add. There's less head clearance space, and it's kind of I'm sitting on the side and I'm looking around. I'm like, this would have been the hottest thing in the world in 1978, But
that's because exactly, Brian. Because you're a little bit younger. I will take a limo over a Sprinter or anything ever because just the kid of the '80s. You got to roll in the limo.
That's it, man.
That demands attention. Demands attention.
That's right. Get you a Countach.
Or they're like, that guy's really old.
Yes.
Now, I think that mine was maybe not the highest end one that I was in. I've seen some that looked really nice. Like,
was it a Chevette limousine?
I've seen I've seen all kinds of things that have been spread out. Yeah. You know what? What's the one from Wayne's World? I've seen a stretch version of that, the Gremlin, right? Stretch Gremlin.
That's right. Brian's in the Stretch
Gremlin. I have seen some, I forget what the movie was, where they had a little cigar pouch, a little built-in humidor in the back, and a nice cocktail set, and it all looked high-end, and you could actually sit up straight in it. I'm like, that looks like that would be a nice limo to be in. The one I was in had a weird bench seat on it that looked like it was ripped out of a club and then slammed in the back of like a Cadillac or something like that.
But all the movies in the 80s, like the buddy comedies and all that, you had to finish it by you and a buddy or you and your girlfriend screaming out the sunroof of a stretch limo. I mean, you just had to, right?
Iconic.
Yes.
I missed out. I don't think there was a sunroof in that.
The movie would freeze. You'd be and that's when it'd stop and the credits would roll.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it, man.
Makes sense. If I ever go back to those times, I'll
if you ever go back to the 80s.
Hey guys, forget the Sprinter. I'll send down a limo for you. Forget you guys.
There we go. That's it, man. We will
we'll
Dumb and Dumber it across the US.
A bar and a humidor inside of it, and I'm there.
What's the soup du jour?
Yeah, the soup du jour, the in-flight, you get stewardess in the limo. That'd be great.
A stewardess in the limo.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Just 4.
Guys, getting ready to go in the last segment here. So we want to make sure if there's anything that you want people to know about the brewery that we haven't covered yet, we want to get it. So is there anything we need to make sure to mention here?
Good true to style beers. And we actually have a really good menu. I mean, the food's really good as well. Like that's one thing that, people do come here for. And we can cover all the bases for everybody. And and we have a lot of space. Like we have a lot of outdoor space. It's a big place.
Yeah, actually, I'll even add to that. Very family oriented. The outside. Yes.
That sounds
the deck. People bring dog. No, it's actually pretty cool because you can drink beer while your kids go and play out in the field.
Play with rocks.
Play with rocks.
Roll in the grass.
That's it.
Get hit with softballs.
Run out into the street.
Running around with mouths full of rocks, practicing their enunciation.
That's right.
So yes,
they speak so clearly.
Yes, that 3-year-old is very well spoken.
Very enunciates marvelously.
He learned that at Dead Low.
That's right.
Wow.
So much happening at Dead Low.
Yes.
Good times. All right. No, Mike Nate, you ready to get us rocking, sir?
Yeah.
You've been recording, haven't you? Wait.
I don't know why.
Tell me that we didn't go. No, it was
It says
recording 18 minutes, so it's
18
all on
minutes.
there.
So we got all the
just make a note for Joey that we forgot to cut, so he'll just have to cut it at time there.
Yeah, make him earn his money.
That's right.
That's right.
Cut
Yep.
it out, Joey.
Chop it.
Who was famous for saying that?
Cut it out, Joey.
Cut it out. It was Uncle Joey on Full House.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm aware of the show. I never really watched that though.
Gosh, he's a baby.
What is up with this guy? Well,
I
his
am
parents
about
were
5 years
extreme
younger.
Christian.
Yeah, they were very Christian.
He wasn't
so,
allowed to have
yeah.
MTV, and I think macaroni and cheese, the Kraft kind, that was the devil's cheese. So he wasn't allowed to have that.
The devil's none of the devil's cheese for this child.
The devil's pasta. Get
Now,
behind me.
You really didn't miss anything not watching Full House. Don't feel as though you were neglected or missed out on anything.
Now, the odd thing is for a while, MTV was okay, and then it became the devil's music. I'm not sure when that happened, but it was at some point in the 80s. So I saw it early and didn't see it for a number of years. But I get to
They
see.
probably saw the Thriller video, and that was
Could be. I saw some of the
It's all Headbangers Ball's fault.
Man,
that probably is.
I love some Headbangers Balls.
Or Brian, probably your parents saw your future and knew that you'd be hanging out with us. So
Pretty
they-
much,
they would-
yeah.
That's it.
Had a glimpse of where I would be. Say, hey, you know what? Once you've seen I'm going to wind up here one way or the other. You might as well let me watch MTV.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I do miss MTV. I liked it back in the video days. That was fun.
Sure.
Before
Now,
it became everybody living in a house and yelling at each other.
Ivan, I know you're with me. I know you remember the pre-MTV days when you had Friday night videos that would come on.
Oh yeah,
USA Network.
Yeah.
Yes.
Night Flight.
Man, we got to stop this. People are going to be like, I'm not going to listen to those old guys talking about it.
They used to do, oddly, I remember when I was a very considerably younger, Disney Channel used to do weird Disney video versions of popular songs. Like they would do Disney videos over popular songs. They basically recut the cartoons to them. So I don't remember the specific songs, but I think they were like what's Grease or something? They took Disney video and put it over Grease songs. They played in between shows
on
Disney. Yeah,
I can see Grease.
I think it was Grease.
Oh, look.
Tell
so
me
actually, Brian, you were raised right. You're talking Grease. I mean, there's
There
hope
you
for
go.
you yet.
Well, I mean,
he knows of it.
I'm aware of it.
Yes.
I'm aware of it after the fact. I think I probably eventually
Yeah.
did see it at some point, just out
Brian's
of curiosity.
family used
but
to gather around the phonograph and break out their favorite wax cylinder.
That's right.
So crank it up, Dad.
It's like you can have a new one when you make it. All
That's
right.
right. Whew. All right, radio. Nate, are you ready, man? You got everything set there? All right, guys, here we go.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to Dead Low Brewing.
Dead Low Brewing, Cincinnati, Ohio, on the river, family-friendly, dog-friendly, great food, great beer, the place to be. Did I cover it all?
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
That's our tagline.
That's
the
it.
place to be.
This is never going to fit on the business card. Well, guys, let's talk a little bit more about your location. We've talked about the beers and that, but you were telling us Kyle, you were mentioning great food. Get you a great meal at Dead Low. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty extensive menu. I mean, I would call it upscale pub grub, I guess. But I mean, we have a little bit of everything. But I mean, everything's really good. I mean, the menu, the food really ended up being a lot more than we kind of went into this. We went into this to be a brewery, and we ended up being a kind of a little more balanced location with food and beer. And the chef that we brought on absolutely killed it out of the gate, and the food is very popular here. I mean, we have a little bit of everything. And so, you know, if you like good food and good beer, I mean, I can't say anything other than come here and try it because
This is the place to do it.
Everything's really good.
Now you said you're right on the river. Can we set on the banks and fish? Is that allowed there?
No, so we're probably, I would say, 2 football fields from the river, like
Okay.
where we're what's
All
considered on the river,
Sure.
in Cincinnati. We're kind of sit right under a bridge that directly connects Ohio and Kentucky, which is kind of nice because it does allow us to bring a lot of Kentucky clientele. Northern Kentucky University is right across the river from us. Riverbend, so we the location was key to us buying this building initially when we wanted to start Dead Low, and it's a really great spot. We don't sit right on the river, but the theme is definitely of the river and the life of the river.
I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to ride my riverboat directly up to the front door and get out.
Paddle just spinning right up
or
there,
maybe
right?
if you have like a drive-through window, like as I'm floating by, pick up a few beers.
My goal is to revert us to the canal system that was here back, way back in the early 1900s. That's what I would like to see, where you just sort of, come right up to the door.
Yeah. And guys, I will add, we've mentioned Riverbend a couple times, the event space, the concert space here. It's really big here in Southwest Ohio. Dave Matthews performed last night, and the crowd just blew the doors off the place here. So Jimmy Buffett, Kiss, some others. Yeah, whenever they come down here, they blow the doors off the place. Scotty B, who is the chef, does unbelievable things. Everything from the pizza to the kitchen, creating different sauces for the wings and homegrown stuff to things that they will request from other regions. And then we've got a young gentleman, I'll say, named Wayne, who is the most phenomenal soup. Pierre, what do you call the people?
I call him my personal soup wizard.
Okay.
Literally, the first thing I do when I come in is always ask what the soup is. Phenomenal.
The soup du jour.
A puree savant.
Yeah. Oh, guys,
we call it the soup of the moment here at Dead Low because it changes, like it goes very quickly. So it's soup of the day is kind of hard to keep up with. So we call it the soup of the moment because there's always something ready to go, but we do have to change it kind of on a dime. So we have the soup of the moment.
This may surprise you guys, but honest story, soup is a contested topic here at Beer Guys Radio. So,
guys,
I am a soup fan. Brian,
I'm not.
Not so much.
No.
He thinks it's a waste. He's like, it's good food. You're just taking good food and turning it into
you're
liquid.
turning it into a drink. If I want to eat something, I want to eat something. If I want to drink something, I want to drink something. I can put the two together. I'm just not a big soup person.
Well, Brian,
I do like chili and stews though. The thicker stuff, I will make exceptions for some of those, but they got to be thick.
Okay.
Chili is the soup of the moment from time to time.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
And so Brian, if I can change your perspective on things, just like beer, soup is one of the essential foods that really brought mankind to where it is today, because it was used to, put a lot of ingredients with flavor rather than having to hunt for a whole bunch of stuff to make a meal. You just make soup and then feed your family. And so that was essential. So, and then you just finish it off with some beer. So think of it that way, a beer with a nice bowl of soup.
And I forget the exact term, but I know like old inns, like old English inns, and that would have, they called it like a perpetual stew, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But basically, you just added whatever veggies or meat or liquid you had.
Yes.
And you just kept the stew going, man.
Same pot for 20 years. And you just keep adding stuff to it. Yeah.
That isn't just a pumpkin puree, which I've been told is some form of food and not like a smoothie. This is a drink. Have you
never had a toasted butternut squash bisque with a little nutmeg and cinnamon?
Oh, now you're talking.
I think people have tried to pawn that off on me as though it were food, and I'm like, no, take your drink away. I will have a beer and I will have a burger. Thank you very much.
I see you smacking it out of their hands.
That's
like
right.
that. Saturday Night Live. birthday thing.
Exactly.
I threw it on the ground.
Exactly. I just smack it directly onto the ground. Burger and a beer, please.
They're like,
So
that was uncalled.
Yes, it usually is, and I'm usually thrown out, but that's fine. That's fine. So what's the number one food and beer pairing? So food's a big thing there, and you've got all these different beers. What's the best pairing of what you've got there?
I mean, the wings are super popular here. I mean, the sauces are all made in house. We use, farm raised wings. I mean, quite honestly, it's wings and a lager. I mean, that's really the big thing here as far as the number one seller. But there's things on the menu that are, that really, we do mussels, and we're not a seafood restaurant. Like that's real, other than like a shrimp po' boy that we do, like that's really the only seafood offering. But like I literally have people that come here regularly because it's their favorite mussels, and that's not like our focus, but like the kitchen just really kills it on a regular basis. But wings are our big thing here. Like the people love the wings. We've kind of made a name for ourselves with the wings. But we have a little bit of everything, but the wings have been kind of the things that kind of put us on the map. Here locally.
Big wings, not like these little tiny wings. Big wings.
They call them party wings. The little
party
wings.
We unfortunately got hit with the supply chain issues and couldn't get the wings that we normally get. So it was a huge deal around here for a couple of weeks.
I see that people are serious about it. We're in Atlanta. This is a wing city, man.
We are very much. Yes.
If Atlanta has a signature food, now you talk sauces. So has lemon pepper wet made it up to Cincinnati?
That has been a specialty sauce. Like that's not one of our regulars, but it has made it onto the menu.
Okay.
Cincinnati Fire is a big one here. It's
tell me about that one. Tell me about
you do the Cincinnati Fire. It is flavorful, and you will be sweating off your brow.
Okay.
At the same time, you can mix it with other sauces. So the garlic parmesan or barbecue, Carolina Kick.
Okay.
Blows it out the water and blows out the doors here. It's people love it. They actually use that sometimes for some specialty sandwiches and other things as well. And I want to say he mentioned the naan. So we have chicken, we have beef. But let me tell you guys, if you are gyro fans, when you get the shrimp naan, it is what you would imagine a shrimp gyro to be if you had a shrimp gyro. It
At
is
a brewery in Cincinnati.
Amazing. Oh, Tim, you don't have enough time. There's even more. You just got to come get in that Sprinter and make it up here. We're gonna blow your socks off.
We'll save the rest for Food Guys Radio.
We'll have to start it up there, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure enough. After the show's done, I need another beer, some chicken wings, and the John Wayne wrap. And then I think
there you go.
There you go. And maybe a butternut squash puree or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I put the pinky out, get in there with some croutons.
Exactly. You have the little tiny decorations in the center of it. Yes.
Now I'll say this too, for some more hot soup talk. Brian and I were invited a few years ago. A local brewery did the Super Bowl, SOUPER, and they had a soup competition there. And even the soup hater Brian at the end of the day is like, you know what? That was pretty good, man. That was pretty good. I'm like,
pretty solid. I knew what I was getting into. I'm going to be drinking a lot of hot drinks. I'm ready for this.
Hey guys, I'll have Wayne's pickle soup ready for you.
What do you think of this,
when you're talking about a soup that goes with a beer, it'll be waiting on you. It'll blow your mind.
I do like pickles a lot, so I'm very intrigued by this. A pickle soup.
Are you torn?
It's very popular.
Your hatred of soup and your love of pickles?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Yeah. I have mixed emotions. I'm a raging storm of mixed emotions over here.
You're gonna make it through this, man. Guys, we're about out of time. We've had a blast chatting with you, learning about Dead Low, talking soup and kids. And dark lagers and all of that
Dead Low stuff. Yeah.
Dead Low, DJ Dead Low, having a good time with it. Is there anything else that people need to know about Dead Low Brewing?
Good beer, good food, good times. I mean, that's really it. I mean, we're right on the border of Ohio and Kentucky. I mean, it's, if you're passing through, please stop in. We've tried to make it a welcoming experience to anybody. And it's it's the place to be right now as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we're
Sounds
we're
like
doing
it to me,
well.
man.
Family
enough.
friendly. And my friend, thanks for the advice. We'll be having a dollar beer testing.
There
here
you go,
soon.
man.
I love that idea, actually.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, good.
And,
Yeah.
Dead Low.
Broaden the horizons. Guys, thank you so much. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Absolutely. Well, Brian, that about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. But we would love for you to join us next week. And we're going to be talking to Big Draft Brewing out of White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Brian, there's a heck of a story behind
Is there?
our connection with this brewery. So thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a great week. Don't forget to drink local. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go.
All right.
We did it. We did it.
We survived. We made it.
Cool.
Hey guys, let me just throw something out there. Kyle and I spoke. We really feel bad for you guys since like your guest bailed on you last week.
Okay.
You don't have to worry. We'll just be your guests every week from now on.
That's it,
Okay.
man. We'll say
Yeah.
we'll
So
talk beer,
you don't have to
food.
book anybody. We'll just keep talking Dead Low.
That's it. We'll talk Dead Low. We can cover what the soup is
That's right.
Yeah.
of the day.
Instead of the beers of the
Yeah.
week, it'll be the soup of the week.
No, it's soup of the moment. Each segment is
Oh,
going to have a
soup of the
different
mo-
soup.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Even better. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah,
we'll
and
make
apologies,
up
I didn't get to dance. I mean, my man
Oh,
threw out the signal a
we
couple
missed
times.
it.
I didn't get to stand up and get it on, but
You missed your cue.
I'll do it next week. Next week.
Okay.
Next
that's
week.
good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this covered, man, because first of all, we're going to give rap personas to every historical character ever.
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll have that. We'll have the soup of the moment.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's throw them off one time. We'll just constantly talk about soup the entire episode. That's just it. And they're like,
Not a
is
beer podcast.
it's like, is there ever going to be
Yeah. It's like, what are they talking
is this
about?
all soup?
We got close to it on this last segment.
Is
We
he
talked a
still
lot about
talking about
soup.
soup?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Are we still talking about soup?
Conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
I was
I
like,
can't
Brian
make
can't
it.
join us.
I
He's
can't
out
make it.
sick. Like he was in the last segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came down with something.
We'll do one from a Sprinter van called "Don't Spill Your Soup."
Don't spill your soup.
Nice.
We've got
Nice.
this, man, and that's you guys will have to do it up there. We're gonna do the cannonball run, man. We'll meet it. We'll pick a halfway point, and we'll both get in our sprinters with soup.
Yeah.
Does Brian know what Cannonball Run is?
I'll bring
I'm
you a bunch
aware
of
of it.
thermoses.
I don't know if I've
everything.
seen the whole. I don't know if I've seen it though. I know.
Yeah,
I know what it is, but
All right.
It's gonna be called the Campbell.
the Campbell run.
like the Campbell ball
Just
run.
the enunciation there. You got to get it just right, though.
The Campbell Run.
That's
The
it. Yeah.
Campbell run.
You have to eat your soup with rocks in your mouth.
Well, that would add something to it that resembles food. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Good stuff, man. This was fun, guys. This was
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
Hey, gents,
Really
honestly,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much. It was,
You know
I wasn't expecting to have such a good time.
Good. Well, I mean, I guess kind of.
surprise people.
Should we be a little offended by that?
Yeah.
So
No, I knew it'd be a good time, but
yeah.
guys, this was just like kicking it in front of a TV Monday Night Football or
hanging
just
out, having beers, right?
hanging out. Yeah, this was great.
Ivan, hold on a second. I want to share some info with you, but let me finish our online here, and we'll be back in just a second. Facebook.
Can we let Kyle go?
YouTube, he can go if he wants. He
Yeah,
can
if
get
you
out
need
of
to
here,
go, man.
if
Thank
he's
you,
gotta
guys.
go.
Much appreciated.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
We'll
Nice
see
to meet
around.
you all.
You too, man. Have a good one.
Yes.
Y'all, thanks for joining us. Make sure to come back next week. Join us again. We'll be talking with Big Draft. Bro, we'd love to have you here. So have a great week, y'all. We'll see you soon.